Hello everyone, welcome to a little health guide for all my fellow creative types. Let's begin. I love to start my mornings in a healthy way. If I do that, I find I'm more mindful throughout the rest of my day. I always start out with a cup of hot tea. It's very grounding for me because it's a step in my daily routine that I don't skip ever. This morning I chose bronchial wellness because I'm getting over a chest cold, as you can probably hear. It's kind of ironic in a video about health. But nobody said I never got sick, okay? I had a busy day ahead of me, so instead of making breakfast, I headed out to Nekter to pick up an acai bowl. Shout out to Nekter for sponsoring this video. Nekter is an amazing juice smoothie acai bowl shop with a convenient location minutes from my apartment. They're plant-based and use no added sugars, fillers, or preservatives in their products. I love that their acai bowls can be customized to your preference. For example, if you're gluten-free, you can swap out for gluten-free granola. You can add protein or greens as well, and even items from their Boost menu that can help you gain even more nutritional benefits. By the way, until the 31st of May, they're doing a free 16-ounce juice or smoothie with your first visit using their app. For my breakfast, I picked up the acai peanut butter bowl made with cashew milk that they make in-house daily. I also got a bottled classic greens drink to go as well. Thought I might as well try the works. It was such a good way to start off my day. Plus, I got to get out of the house and into the real world for a bit. Little trips like that can make a huge difference when you work from home or have a tendency to get swept away and work at your desk for hours. Another great way to get out of the house is to meet up with a friend or take your pet out to the park. Mochi, my rescue pup, is one of the main reasons I was able to stay healthy here when I first moved to LA, mentally and physically. I actually rescued him my second day living in LA before I even had a bed in my apartment. Having someone else to take care of can be a great focus shift from the stress of being in an incredibly competitive industry. Plus, you have to get outside to walk them. I took Mochi to the park to enjoy some fresh air. Unfortunately, it was gloomy, but we still had a great time, and I felt good knowing he got some exercise. I need to stress the importance of doing things that don't just relate to your job or your industry. We can often feel like, as creatives, our work is never done, and we must always be hustling, pushing ourselves to the nth degree because someone else could be coming along to take your job, your success, your money, when really, I always like to say, you can't pour from an empty glass. Take care of yourself, and you'll ultimately be able to perform better, create better, audition better, and live better. Find things to do for yourself that aren't productive. I know that sounds crazy, but it's a really cool part of this book I'm reading called the Book of Ikigai. It talks about taking pleasure in the unproductive, doing things for no other reason than pure enjoyment, like we used to do when we were kids. We don't even realize how much we do with a need to kill 2 or more birds with one stone. How much happiness we sacrifice because we need to constantly feel like we're doing things that are worthwhile. There's nothing wrong with hustling and being a boss, but make sure you have other motivations than climbing a ladder or making more money. I get it. The struggle is real, but again, fill up your glass. We cannot be expected to conquer our stress and fear completely in one day. Everybody needs coping mechanisms, and sometimes I enjoy a little bit of escapism. I absolutely love reading as a means to escape. I'm more and more enjoying nonfiction books, those that help me improve my quality of life, or, of course, astrology books. But I also just wrapped up this Murakami novel called Sputnik Sweetheart while I was in San Francisco, and I loved it. I love so many of his books, highly recommend them. This book happened to be exactly what I needed to read at the time I read it. I've been feeling pretty lost and detached from myself recently, so it strangely made me feel less alone to read about characters experiencing some of those feelings of loneliness and estrangement. Speaking of San Francisco, I recently went on a solo trip there. Because I didn't bring my camera on that trip, I'll show you some footage from my trips to Stockholm and Lisbon last month. Back to San Francisco. I'm fortunate enough that I had the funds to book the trip that week and stay for 3 days in a really lovely cottage Airbnb. I had it all to myself, and I spent every day at Dolores Park reading and journaling. It was an amazing getaway, and it allowed me to be alone with myself and check in on how I'm really doing. I love a change of scenery to shift my mindset. Plus, if you've been feeling creatively blocked, if you can make it happen, travel and see how being in a new location affects your creative process. You never know what might inspire you. While I love crossing borders, I've recently learned the importance of boundaries. I saw a quote that said something like, "Notice the people who are upset by you asserting your boundaries. They're usually the people benefiting from you not having any." How true! I had to set some major boundaries recently, and though it was uncomfortable, I feel so much better. I'm someone who doesn't hesitate to cut people out of my life once they cross that line, and I can tell you it brings so much peace to my life knowing everyone in my circle has my best interest and is trustworthy and respectful of me and my needs. Nix those toxic people once and for all. Clean space, clear mind. I've always heard various incarnations of that statement, but didn't really want to take heed because I'm messy. It's true, not dirty per se, but messy. Having anxiety makes me like a tornado. I often feel like I'm late for something, or I need to hurry and cut corners to leave the house or get everything done. So I often have clothes strewn about, dishes left unwashed in the sink, makeup on the floor. You get it. And being clean seems like a lot of work. But a mess is not a happy thing to come home to. Take the time to bite the bullet and clean your space. I've spent so much more time in my office this week since cleaning it. I've been so much more productive and comfortable in my space. I also cleaned my car and vacuumed the inside, and am now not embarrassed to carpool with people since the spilled dry oats have been removed from my back seat. Don't ask. Routine. Routine is key for everyone in some way. I really believe that. Not perhaps for everyone when it comes to work. A lot of us creatives dread monotony when it comes to career, and that's why we're in creative industries to begin with. But create small routines for yourself. It's immensely stabilizing. My skincare routine is actually something that not only prepares me for my day in the morning and soothes me at night, but has benefits too. I love carefully selecting my skincare products and taking the time to enjoy their fragrance and texture. I recently began taking a multivitamin because this chest cold has me realizing I need to boost my immune system. I also have recently started taking medication for my anxiety. I think we're still finding the perfect dosage, but I'm feeling better, and that's a great sign. It also feels good to be taking my anxiety seriously, as strange as that may sound. I'm proud of myself for acknowledging that I needed help. Regardless if you take psychiatric meds or not, keep up with your doctor's appointments. Creatives can often neglect their physical vessels because we're so much more interested in perfecting whatever we're creating, but trust me, it's way more stressful to put things off. That tiny toothache will catch up with you. Something that also helps me stay on track as someone who works from home is my planner. Sounds basic, but I've been using a planner for as long as I could write, I think. I'm a chronic list maker and have never been able to get into my calendar on my phone or laptop. I need to physically write. There's something meditative about it, and I feel like I remember things better when I've written them down. Another thing I always physically write in is my journal. I've casually kept journals for a long time, but only recently am really keeping on top of myself about my entries. I try to write every day and not edit myself so much. I used to be so paranoid that somebody would read it, and so I wouldn't write what I was really feeling. I also just kept daily logs for a long time, like, had a nice breakfast today, omelet and fruit, took a run, test tomorrow, gotta study, instead of what I really meant to say, like, I'm feeling really anxious today. I've been biting my cuticles a ton, and now they look ragged, and I'm embarrassed. I don't feel like answering any phone calls today. I worry about bumming out my friends. Exercise and a good breakfast this morning did make me feel better, noting to do that tomorrow. I can be obsessive about only creating beautiful things, trying to only admit to thinking beautiful thoughts. But a journal is my space, and it's healthy to check in honestly with yourself. You know, even the stuff that seems ugly to write out. Another thing to take note of in your journal, or just mentally, is how different foods, beverages, people, and places make you feel. Find out the positive ones and how you can reproduce those feelings every day. Even note outfits that make you feel great. Remember the friends you're around when you feel over the moon. Move your body. I know this is especially hard when you're in a tough spot mentally, but if you feel up to it, find an exercise regimen or class that you enjoy. I personally need exercise options that are simply fun to make me stick to it. I've been enjoying the BBG app recently because of its structure, the short workout time, and the motivating sounds the app makes when you finish a workout. Some days, however, I am not in the mood. Some weeks, honestly. Some weeks we need to do some of this. A whole lot of this. And that is okay. Listen to your body. That's one of the greatest skills we can acquire. Fill up your glass however you need to. Even when you feel completely lonely and isolated, there is always someone you can call. Trust me, somebody is there, somebody loves you. You don't even have to talk about your problems, but just connect with someone. It's always helpful to call someone who isn't in your industry as well, to offer a new perspective or fun stories that aren't related to your job or aspirations. Finally, allow room for rest. Do whatever you need to do to actually get sleep. I've enjoyed these melatonin gummies I got from CVS so much. They also taste very good. And also these comfy bears with CBD. They're my favorite way to ingest CBD and most effective for me. I don't have them every night, but once in a while when I need a little extra help winding down, they're great. Oh, and can I just say, while we're here, stay off of freaking social media. Don't get me wrong, social media is an amazing tool. It's part of my career, and if you follow me, you know I post frequently, but I know when I need to take a break or immediately get off my phone, and I know when I need to unfollow people. I am not ashamed to unfollow somebody if I see a triggering post or something that makes me feel, I don't know, that weird feeling, like you're a little jealous or insecure, but you don't want to admit it because of your pride, so you just keep scrolling, but it follows you around all day, and then the next time you see one of their posts, it happens again, and you scroll past and, unfollow. Or at least mute. Know your limits with all things. You are allowed to create a safe space for yourself in real life and online. Hope you guys enjoyed this health guide for creative types. Keep your heads up, keep being you, stop the comparing, and keep the creating. See you in my next video.